trail like that.
Yeah, that was because the sorcerer was doing some work.
Exactly.
While I was enjoying the story.
Yeah.
So this is the drowned cave or caverns area, which is where the spooky boss is. I don't want to
Don't give it away, dude.
But it's a spooky boss.
Yeah. We also got to fight a world boss,
Yes.
which will be shown later in the month.
The lair of a creature that can feed the village for months.
Are we strong enough to face it?
We will see.
Ready your weapon, boy.
So the coastline here is populated by a family of monsters called the Drowned. They're not necessarily like family in terms of them being related, but it's just like an archetype.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different roles within that, so it's like a menagerie of grouping.
Yeah. They're all like, I think the idea is they're like sailors who drowned and then became these like evil undead spirits.
Exactly.
Like the walking zombie.
Yep. And here you see that you just picked up a chest piece with 2 slots on there and also 2 runes, which you're putting there. You've got a condition rune and then an effect rune. The condition rune in this demo is if you use a potion, then it activates the rune beneath it, which is increases your critical strike. Is it a percentage
Sure.
of it happening, I think, with the probability for a certain amount of time?
They always drop together in this demo, which is
Yes.
not going to happen in game.
Right. So the runes are coming back as like a physical object as opposed to in Diablo 3 where they were something that would modify like a skill that you would unlock.
Yeah, the conditional aspect of them is really interesting. They talk about that in the context of making specific builds.
Yeah.
Which I feel like there is a lot of potential there to be rewarded for focusing on a specific thing.
Yeah, they were saying some of the other like conditions are like if you open a chest, for instance, or if you deal a certain amount of damage within a period of time, those can trigger the effect runes. So you could just kind of think about like, oh yeah, a lot of cool possibilities.
Yeah. To talk more about the barbarian skill set here, you've seen that jump attack that's mapped to 2 there. Very satisfying.
That's a fun one.
Unknown-
That gets you right into battle too. You like leap forward and
Yeah.
attack things.
Or
It's
out of
great.
battle. Versatile move.
Yeah, I prefer to jump into battle because I'm courageous.
Right.
Not a coward.
I just hit that number 1, which is like a rallying cry, which kind of buffs everybody's speed,
Yes.
at the very least.
This is the boss.
This is the boss.
There she is.
I'm being supportive with what you just said, Reeves.
Yeah.
I don't know what people could possibly get
Yeah.
out of the no commentary version of this.
Yeah.
We're providing necessary
No.
context.
You can see there's a health meter on top. Underneath that is the stagger meter, which we will not fill up. But if we were to fill it up, the boss would enter kind of a stagger state, which leaves it vulnerable. It may change the way that it attacks or whatever. But
And that's based on if you're using free, like, cold attacks or stun attacks, anything that kind of builds up that.
like a crowd control type thing. It
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
deal a lot of damage.
And I believe we did this quest well into our gameplay demo, so we had already like gotten a lot of loot that leveled us up pretty high.
Yeah.
So that's why we normally I think that fight would take a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
we were well above.
We're just so strong.
That's right.
And that dropped that legendary Hellhammer, which is for upheaval, which we were talking about the right click, that directional in front of you.
Yes.
Ignites the ground.
Yeah.
It makes it an insta-kill for so many enemies.
It also has a really
became
cool
very
flame
useful.
effect.
Yeah. Even when you're not using it. Seeing it on your back. It's interesting how much we were able to progress in this small demo. It felt like there was still a lot of power growth in a short amount of time.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah, because there's
Definitely feel
one
the
of the side quests we went to. It's like a cave that had, like right now I think we're level 20 and there are enemies that are level 25. And when we first started, they were very difficult. But I think near the end, once we'd kind of geared up a little bit more, it was still challenging, but not quite as tough.
Lantern showed me his fate. He was sacrificed to a drowned witch. She wanted your son next.
Aaron fell into a fitful sleep shortly after you left. Is it finally over?
Mother!
What's happening?
It hurts. I can't.
Aaron, look at me. Breathe.
I let it hang here in this gameplay, but the first time we did it, it's a funny thing about this type of game that this story moment right here is like, oh, this is a good time to sort through my loot.
Yeah.
Well, this boy's dying in front of me. I should probably Get rid of what I don't need.
Check my pockets quick.
So
Yeah.
why you killed the witch that was sort of possessing him or something, and then he dies, right?
Right.
Like what?
Some kind of family
what happens
curse
there?
going on there.
Yeah.
Do you have a family curse, Reeves?
Yes. I could just get killed at any moment. You never.
Susceptible to death. Here we are in Domhain Tunnels, an optional area in the BlizzCon demo.
This is another monster family, the goat men. And you see like the shaman, he raises his staff and he's like kind of infecting his friends so that when they die they leave like an AoE poison right where their corpse was.
Right. I'm in my ultimate mode here.
Uh-huh.
Just got out of it. That transforms you into a super beast, it seems. You know, I didn't realize till we started recording this video how little specific names I knew.
Yeah. And I'm glad you learned them.
Yeah. And
beast.
the last skill we haven't talked about is on number 3 there. It's a big cutting attack. You see that I have that blunt two-handed and a two-handed sword as well. And that uses the two-handed sword to bleed enemies.
Yeah.
I think it attacks multiple enemies if they're standing kind of each other.
Right, it's like in a line,
I
yeah.
believe it's impale.
I think there's something too. If an enemy dies while they're bleeding, they do extra damage to enemies nearby or something like that.
Probably.
Indeed. But
So-
yeah, that alt attack with the right mouse button, I love that one too, where you just like dish up some dirt from the ground. It
Yeah,
does a lot
people.
of good damage. Good spray damage.
Good spray.
I'm a little disappointed at how you can't really make out the druid's wolves. They're semi-translucent here, I guess, to keep you from targeting them in the middle of battle.
Right, yeah, only the druid sees them as...
But they're very cool. You're really going to like them, guys.
They do some good work.
The druid is a very interesting class.
By
It's
interesting, you mean
different now.
It's the best.
Yeah. It transforms for specific attacks and then automatically transforms back.
Yeah.
As you can see there.
So he's like a bear and a werewolf. And that's it that we saw.
Yeah, those are the only 3 forms they at least wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Human. Werewolf bear. Shamans are back. Reviving their buds.
Oh, these goatmen aren't being revived. They're just getting poisoned.
Oh yeah, that's just a little tidbit for you.
But the shamans, like, they could do some damage too if you weren't paying attention, and like you'd notice hopefully eventually that, wait a minute, guys keep coming back, so look for the shaman who's resurrecting everybody. And I think they said at some point in the game there's the shaman who also resurrects shamans.
Yeah,
So
that was
it's
something
like
from Diablo 2. Was a legendary
Yeah.
legendary shaman in this one. But most of them can't do that,
Correct.
which is nice.
Because we would still be in the dungeon.
Yeah. We would still be
Killing
at
the same
Blizzard
ones.
trying to finish this demo. Ooh, loot.
Yeah, this game has loot.
Oh, we should mention that, yeah. We hinted earlier with the world boss, there's kind of shared world where you'll see other players that you're not in a party with, which is interesting. And we talked to him in an interview that's going up later this month about how they draw that line between this and a full MMO, you know, as they're introducing more stuff like that. And they definitely do see it as very distinct.
Which is interesting because I got the Destiny vibe a little bit from this. Because
Yeah.
you're out in the open world, you see other people, other players who aren't your friends sometimes. But it's definitely not like as populated as an MMO, like a proper MMO
Yeah.
or a traditional MMO.
And
let's say.
dungeons, you won't see anybody still,
Right.
if they're not in your party.
But you can be with your squad for sure and tackle everything.
Yeah. We're hot off of BlizzCon right now.
Super hot.
Super hot. They showed that announced cinematic we got to see a little early
Oh
at the
my gosh,
studio.
The thing looks so good.
That was a very cool cinematic. That was the most finished cinematic I've ever gotten the warning that this isn't finished before, you know. Guys, don't judge too harshly on this gorgeous thing.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think I'll know the difference once they actually show the finished version.
Yeah. Yeah, that cinematic's cool. And then you made the joke, Cork, that a year after that, everybody's just going to be farming her for boots.
Yeah, exactly.
But right now, everyone thinks Lilith is very cool, which she is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
a treasure goblin, yeah.
Yeah. And you
And-
can't really tell. He's not, like, in Diablo 3, he was like a giggling buffoon. You can see, like, Diablo 4 is a little more grounded.
A little bit darker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a treasure goblin, but if you look at him, he's kind of He has a different silhouette
He's a little bit
as he's
faster.
getting beaten to death by 3 people.
Yeah. Just pulverized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that darker tone. We can talk about that a bit.
I like it. I mean, you can see it here. Oh, we're just getting bombed by enemies. But I think it's got a good look, which I really like.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
was-
the more Diablo 2 inspired.
I was worried they might do like a closer zoomed in camera or something over the shoulder, but that top down traditional style.
Was that a rumor?
There was I think that was like a thing they had experimented with when they started 3 even.
Yeah. Like, how can we make this unplayable? I've got an idea.
I got some ideas.
Yeah. Ben Hansen, God rest him, made the good point that this is kind of what they were pitching with Immortal, too, was back to Diablo 2 style
Right.
Yeah.
lore, which for some reason people weren't excited about.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense for them to take Diablo as a brand and make it stand out a bit more from their other stuff, a little less colorful. You know, it's its own aesthetic.
I do wonder if now that this is out and people can see it, if people will be more excited for Immortal. It's like, okay, you know what? One on my phone, I could also play that.
Yeah. I mean,
Now that I
honestly,
know this is also a thing, yeah.
it just depends if Immortal's good, right? It could surprise everyone and be good.
Didn't seem that bad when I played it.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, last year when we were out for the cover story, we got a chance to check it out.
All right. These
Right.
treasure goblins are real pests.
We wanted to show a treasure goblin getting away. We
Yep.
wanted to see what that looked like,
Yeah.
which obviously would never happen.
Yep. There you go.
So that'll be the only time you see that.
Right.
Yeah. And now we're headed to Garen Hold, which is the one high level area. We're level 19. This dungeon is for about level 25.
Right.
And we'd asked while we were there, like, will you be able to, like, randomly, is there going to be a chance that the portal will remain open and you'll be able to go fight the aspect of greed and all that business? Or maybe will Whimsyshire be in the game? You know, and they're not answering those questions. But we
Oh.
did ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
cow level, and there's